College football is over, the NFL is winding down, and as we turn our attention to the ice and hardwood until Sunday, January 22nd, we are slashing NBA, college basketball, and NHL season passes from $4.59 all the way down to $2.99 with no coupon needed. This special price locks in your favorite handicappers in the sport of your choice through the championship for pennies on the dollar versus buying daily packages. And since the price will remain $2.99 through midnight on January 22nd, the earlier you buy, the more days you get included at no additional cost. How much are you saving? College basketball comes to just $3.55 per day through March Madness, and the NBA and NHL discounts come out to just under $60 per month to lock in your favorite handicapper through the finals or Stanley Cup. Go to your favorite handicappers page at WagerTalk and or Sports Memo and lock in your sports through the championship for only $2.99 each. If you want to combine handicappers or multiple sports, email us and we can work out an even more significant discount for you.
Hey guys, welcome in, and a very happy Thursday to you now here, January 12th, 2023, and it's a new year, and boy, oh boy, in many aspects, it's a brand new NBA here, as plenty of action on the card here tonight, some good games, teams going to go at it. We're going to break down a few of these games as usual. We're going to see if we can't find a couple of edges and angles for you, and we're going to do it with three of the very best as we welcome back in Tony Mejia, brand new, looking really good with the lighting, by the way. Ronald Cabang, sportsmemo.com, hanging with us here today, and I believe for the first time this year, it is Mr. Marco D'Angelo hanging out with us as the NBA in full effect. And Mejia, I know we talked on the college show. I believe you got a little something brewing here tonight in the association. What else you got up at WagerTalk.com for us?
Yeah, in the hours since I spoke last to you, I added a college 4% play. So
boom.
Top playing college hoops and top playing NBA are both up. Some other little morsels to snack on as well. And then already with a 5% for the NFL playoff weekend. So looking forward to a big week, hopefully.
The man dropped morsel. You got to appreciate that, Marco. What's going on, my man? We got plenty this weekend, obviously. College basketball, NFL wild card. You in hockey as well as NBA. What's going on, man? What do you got for us at WagerTalk.com?
Well, I got my NBA game of the week, 4% play up tonight. And we've had a good run in the NBA. I'm very selective, but 19-7 on the current run in the NBA, and going back long term, 52-27 in the NBA. So you can pick up that 4% play, but it's always best to look at one of those 3 or 7 or 30-day all access packages. Then you don't miss anything. Save yourself some money. And the NFL playoffs have been very good to me the last 3 years, and I'm looking forward to a big weekend. I'm trying to decide if we're pulling the trigger on a 5% on the weekend. I'm watching one game closely, and we'll decide that in the next 24 to 36 hours.
Love this time of year, guys. That's what it's all about. Options here, and over at sportsmemo.com, you'll find our good friend Ronald Cabang, U-Capper, hanging with us here. Happy New Year, my man. This is the first time, I think, in 2023 we got you back on the show. Exciting stuff. What's going on at sportsmemo.com with you?
Yeah, been on a little bit of a heater there. I think we've kind of been on an up and down roller coaster in the NBA, but right now we're on the upswing. So 8-1, I think, in the last 9 NBA plays. Been hitting the college basketball conference games as well, doing pretty well there. 2 games up tonight on sportsmemo.com. I'll actually be talking about at least one of them here today. I like one of those cards, and they'll be my best bet during that segment.
All right. Love it, guys. Let us dive in like we usually do. Yes, 2023, the Contrarian gods Still pissed off as usual. So here we go tonight. Where are they looking on the card, Mejia? Yeah, they're going to be looking at those Portland Trailblazers who, well, they can't hit water if they fell out of a boat lately, but they are getting 3, and they are taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers at home. So just when you think it's a good bounce back spot for Cleveland, Portland's in a tailspin. The contrarian gods, Tony Mejia, say not so fast. Portland Trailblazers +3. What do you say?
Well, I'd embrace the Blazers a little more if we knew that Damian Lillard was officially going to play. But as of for the 3:30 injury report, he is still listed as questionable with an ankle injury. So obviously, as he goes, so go the Blazers. And actually, that's not entirely accurate because he had 30 the other night against Orlando, and it still wasn't enough to beat the Magic. And you would have thought that getting back home would against a team like the Magic, who had been on the road now for a good couple games, would have been the cure for what's ailing Portland. But clearly, they are not playing well. They lost it on the road, whatever magic that they did have, and still struggling. So I would not back the Portland Blazers tonight. Jared Allen will play for Cleveland, so that obviously helps with the Cavaliers' interior defense to have him and Mobley. It's tough for the Blazers to score through Nurkic if Lillard is out. Obviously you got a top pick and roll partner out of the equation. So we shall see. If he does not play, though, that might open up the Anthony Simons prop market.
Good point there. Nurkic, I'm seeing active now. Damian Lillard, still questionable. Looks like Gary Payton, the 48th, is probable here, Marco D'Angelo. So what do you think? I mean, there's the Cleveland Cavaliers playing at home and then the Cleveland Cavaliers on the road. They're two different animals here, Marco, but might you be looking at Portland here tonight?
Well, I just might, but you're going to have to wait on my side play till we get to the best bet segment, and I'll tell you that. But I did bring you some morsels for this game as far as the total goes in this one. And we've got a couple unique trends, one for each team, and they both favor the under in this game. Portland, this season, when they've played a game where the line is between the threes, +3 to -3, 10 times this year. They've gone under 9 of the 10 games. Also, this year, we find that Cleveland, 10-1 to the under when they are off an upset loss as a road favorite in their previous game the last 2 seasons. So we got 2 strong trends saying to take the under tonight. So I'm going to give you the under for now, and we'll double back to this one in the best bet segment for my side.
220 and a half is what we're seeing there in the total. Good stuff there. How about it, Ronald? What do you think, you Capper? Are we looking at the home dog here, or do you think it's bounce back time for Cleveland?
No, you know what? I'm gonna go with the contrarian side here. I do like the Blazers here. I feel like they have a chance to win this one outright. The Cavs, they're on a 4th game. They're on the 4th game of a 5-game Western Conference road trip. I know the Blazers, they're currently on a losing streak, primarily because of their offense. But this is the 2nd game home back from a road game, and typically at home is where they play better. They average 10 points more than they do at home than on the road. And for that too, we look at the Cavs. I mentioned the Cavs on a 4-game road trip right now. The Cavs this season, when they played at least their 3rd straight road game, they're actually 0-5 straight up, 0-5 against the spread. They haven't won a game so far in that spot so far this season. They lost to the Clippers, they lost to the Kings, they lost to the Warriors, Raptors, and Jazz. So to me, I think this is a spot here where the Blazers get up for it and they catch the Blazers with some motivation on their side to get a win at home, and they catch the Cavs here on a downward swing on a road trip. Another thing to mention, as home dogs this season, Blazers are 4-1 ATS in that spot as well. I think this is a get-right spot for the Blazers here, and they get going as they stay here at home.
All right, well, there you got it here, guys. The Contrarian gods, they are looking at that home dog, the Portland Trailblazers tonight. Maybe a bit of good news. Ricky Rubio might actually make it back to the court for the Cavs tonight. Still listed as questionable. Jared Allen, by the way, we should tell you, listed as probable tonight for the Cavs. All right, let us focus on a featured matchup here tonight. One which should be, well, unfortunately, it's going to be missing a pretty big piece for one of these teams, as the Brooklyn Nets are going to be taking on the Boston Celtics here. 1.5 is what it looks like for Boston as a favorite. I believe 225 now as a total. This game's at the Barclays Center. 3s is what originally it looks like we had, but Jaylen Brown listed as questionable. Horford is out. Claxton is probable, which is good news for the Brooklyn Nets. But when you put it all together here, Marco, is this a game you're looking at the side or the total here?
Well, this is my weakest of the plays on the show, obviously, because where you've got the situation with Kevin Durant for Brooklyn. But like I do in so many of the pro sports, when you've got a key player out that first game, you do like to look at the injured team in this one. And we're catching Boston having to play last night and now travel second night, back-to-back nights. So that is an advantage for Brooklyn at home. But these are two of the hottest teams in the NBA, the two beasts of the East, so to speak, with Brooklyn and Boston. I'm going to go ahead. If you put the old gun to my head on this one, guys, I like Brooklyn here to get the job done tonight. I think the rest of the team rallies and finds a way to do it. Now, I will say Boston is in one of their favorable situations, as they are 21-9 against the spread when playing on the road in a game where it is in between the threes, +3 to -3. It's always a good sign when you see teams that do well in those competitively priced games, because basically they're supposed to be coin flip games when they're priced that way. And whenever they excel way above that coin flip, you know the team is playing well. So weak vote for Brooklyn. This is not one that I got to the window with my clients, though.
So we certainly have seen the money coming towards Brooklyn, dropping them from a 3-point to it looks like a 1.5-point favorite here. Kia, are you siding with the market movement here, or do you think the Celtics are the side?
Well, I mean, Jaylen Brown legitimately questionable. So I mean, he came up with adductor tightness, and so that's potentially something that will keep him out on the second night of a back-to-back. Third game in 4 nights for the Celtics. Significant rest advantage for Brooklyn, who haven't played since Sunday and needed that practice time without Kevin Durant available to them for the next month. He'll probably be out through the All-Star break. We'll see about that. That's roughly 5 weeks away, but I don't see him rushing back, given how long the season is. But for the next month or so, they will have to do it without him, and he has been an MVP candidate, certainly. Out of the rut that Brooklyn originally started the season in, he helped pull them out of it. Once Kyrie Irving came back from his suspension, they've really taken off, and now it's going to be the Kyrie Irving show. And I'm always concerned with Brooklyn because they're easy to guard in terms of you can double off of Ben Simmons because he's a non-shooter, so now he's going to have to be more aggressive. Royce O'Neal made the big shot the other night to beat Miami. He'll have to be more aggressive. And somebody that I think will be the biggest beneficiary of Durant being out is TJ Warren, who just came back from his injury last month and is really starting to pick things up. So this would be a net spot for me simply because they haven't played since Sunday, and we're seeing the Celtics play for the third time in 4 games. But they've been shuffling guys in and out of the lineup as well. Robert Williams will take out Horford's minutes, with Horford resting on the second night of a back-to-back. Marcus Smart has missed the last 2 games with knee soreness, so he'll be back in the mix tonight. We'll see if Jaylen Brown plays. It's a game that Boston should win on the road. I mean, regardless of the rest advantage, you've got Brown and Tatum together. You have an edge against a KD-less Nets. If he doesn't play, then I do think this is a spot where Brooklyn can send a resounding statement by winning their first game out of probably 15 or so without KD. we'll just see who steps up alongside Kyrie Irving, be it O'Neal, be it Claxton probably gets more touches. Joe Harris, Yuta Watanabe off the bench. So we'll see. It's time to start rallying the troops if you're Brooklyn, and certainly an important first test against the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. First time without Durant here. I mean, hard to believe, you, Capper, that he's actually missed one game prior to this. He's been a wealth of help all year, which has really helped them weather the storm, but now they got to return to favor for him. Are you a believer like the market is that maybe, just maybe, Brooklyn will be just fine holding down the fort here tonight?
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually not sure if the line movement is due to money moving it, or more so that the Jaylen Brown news making him questionable. Because typically lately in the NBA, when someone is downgraded to questionable like this late in the day, they're gonna be out, and sometimes that's something that would have probably moved the line, in my opinion. But if he ends up coming back and actually playing the game, they might move it back to the 3 or 3.5, which what it was like 2 hours ago or whatever. But for the most part, I think there's valid points on both sides from both Tony and Marco. For the most part, though, I would rather focus more so on the total, because one thing that I've noticed with these two teams, they're both really hot right now, right? Celtics 4-game winning streak. Nets, they've won 14 of the last 15. Obviously, that had to do with KD. KD is now out, and Marco brought up a really good point with, the key injured player coming, leaving for that first game. A lot of the guys step up in that first game when it happens. So I don't want to step on that, but what I do see is a very bad schedule spot on both sides. This is the first leg of back-to-back games, home to road, so there's travel involved for the Celtics. They came off of that 11-point win over yesterday against the Pelicans. This is also the third game in 4 nights for them as well. On the Nets side, this is the first game off a 3-game road trip. They are also well rested, though, so that helps them. But the other part that's funky about their travel situation, prior to today, 10 of their last 13 games were on the road. So there could be travel fatigue on both sides of the ball today. Some trends to note, too. Celtics 13-6-1 to the under on the road, including 7-1 to the under if it's a conference road game, with a total over 220. Another thing to mention on the Nets side here, they're 3-1 to the under in home games versus teams with a winning record, which the Celtics obviously do have. And they've only been home dogs twice so far this season. They lost and failed to cover in both of those. One game was under by a huge margin. I think it was under by like 20 points. The second game that went over actually went over because they went into overtime. So in regulation, that would have went under. So a lot of things to me, along with travel fatigue, along with KD going out, a lot of the trends, they're just pointing to the under for me.
All right, under it is. It has certainly dropped 228, now 225 and a half in the marketplace. And Robert Williams, Marcus Smart back in the lineup here for the Celtics. All right, let's focus on a game and the total here tonight. One that, boy, oh boy, the market didn't waste any time pushing this thing up from the overnight posting. And that is Dallas taking on the Lakers, 229 and a half. Last night I was watching this, 229 and a half we got. And now you wake up this morning, it's like, yeah, 236. Who are we kidding? Not going to get a whole lot of defense in this game. What we are going to get is a whole lot of pace here, and a pretty good chance of this thing going up and over with this Lakers squad lately. And it does look like Dwight Powell is the only one I'm seeing from Dallas questionable. Luka's active, but they still don't have Finney-Smith, Josh Green, Maxi Kleber, which happen to be, Marco, 3 of the better defenders for Dallas. So probably not going to see a lot of defense in this game. Is it just simply still an over or not spot for you in this game?
Actually not. I like the under in this game, guys. And when you get a game here with Dallas, I found a couple trends with them involving totals, especially when they're in tough situations. Start with +3 to -3. Again, talk about competitive games. When Dallas plays a game that should be a tough game, they play better defense. This is a team that has gone 33-19 to the under when the line is between the threes. Now, I'm going to make that number sound even more impressive. the average score in those games was 213. 213 for that sample size over the last 2 seasons. Another spot for Dallas where they seem to show up to play defense is when they're losing. If they've lost 2 of their last 3 games over the last 2 seasons, they've gone under the total 25 times in just 14 overs, 25 and 14 to the under. And they had a dismal game last time out. And over the last 3 seasons, when they have been trailed by 15 or more at the half, they're a perfect 8-0 to the under. And once again, that one, they're averaging 212 per game in those ones. So you're always going to get a inflated total involving the Lakers and LeBron. And LeBron sat on Monday. It was the 3rd game in 4 days. They were coming off playing a back-to-back on Friday and Saturday, and then went to Denver on Monday. So they sat him. So obviously, when you should see LeBron, people are going to bet the over. I'm not quite there tonight. I like the under in this one.
All right, he's going on. I think it got a little too feisty there in the marketplace. Ronald Kabang, what do you think? Are you buying an under here, or do you think there's still room to go up and over the total?
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved to take the over at the open number last night, but obviously it jumped pretty quickly this morning. For the most part, I do have a look on a team total for the Lakers here. One thing that Marco mentioned as for the unders, I know the Mavericks as road favorites this season, they've been struggling against the spread, and it's primarily because of their offense here. But so a lot of the teams that I've seen that they faced in these spots, though, they're more slower paced teams. They're defensive minded, which I don't think the Lakers are. So for the most part, I agree with the line movement. I just feel like it might end up being in between the opening total and where we are at now, which is the 236. So if you had the open number and you got the over, I mean, it might be wise to maybe even try to get the middle there. I feel like that's where it ends up being tonight.
Yeah, listen, I mean, it's a good point. Sometimes it gets out of control here. We knew LeBron was going to be active in this game, and, it was, well, the question was, is Doncic? Yeah, of course, Doncic's going to be in this game. So run. But do you feel that there's still enough room to go up and over here, or is it under now for you where the value lies?
I mean, the value does lie on the under simply because of the number moving up as high as it did. But I was in on the over on Christmas. And this was one of my more memorable games of the season because it looked completely dead at halftime. It was 54-43 Lakers. And then 51 points the Mavericks came up with in the third quarter alone.
Yeah.
I mean, ridiculous. Yep. Everything was going in. They obviously turned that game on its head, won 124-115, covered the total, and Dallas covered the number, which I think that day was also money came in on the Mavericks. Revenge spot for LeBron in that game. A little bit, maybe you want to sprinkle Luka Doncic triple-double, plus 310. He had a big game in that game, went for a 32-9-9. So certainly without Dorian Finney-Smith out there, he's got to be more of a rebounder. Obviously always facilitates. So you got a shot at a triple-double with Luka. I think, pace-wise, these are two teams that are polar opposites. The Mavericks prefer to play in half court because obviously they play through Luka and are 30th in the league in pace. And the Lakers, they like to get up and down, and they're number 2 in pace with guys like Westbrook and now Dennis Schroeder all pushing pace and really getting things. So it's going to be like a tempo war tonight. I think I'm going to stay off the total and take a shot with some player props. I think Luka and LeBron both have big nights.
All right, good stuff there, guys. Opportunity in that Mavs-Lakers game. Should be a fun one. That's one of the late games as well, 10 o'clock Eastern time tip. But now, what do we got? 6 games on the board, 6 dogs. Which one's going to be barking tonight, Robert?
That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. And anybody got to say anything, you let me know. That's my dog.
All right, they're going to be barking here tonight. Now we got what? OKC as a dog. Brooklyn, we talked about Charlotte as a dog. The Bucks finding themselves as a dog, as do the Lakers. We just told you about in Portland. All dogs, 6 games, 6 dogs. Come on, Mejia. Which one's barking for you tonight here?
Well, by default, it's got to be LeBron and the Lakers at home. simply because I can't get behind the Blazers just yet with Lillard's status in doubt. Giannis is not going to play for the Bucks, so no thank you in Miami. That number actually probably hasn't gone up enough, so I may get there to the window for the Heat. Boston and Brooklyn, still the Jaylen Brown situation. I would take Brooklyn plus the 1.5, but if Brown doesn't play, that'll probably be closer to pick 'em. And I cannot trust a team that plays no defense, so that takes the Hornets and the Thunder out of the equation in Toronto and Philadelphia, respectively. So give me the Lakers and LeBron getting it done at home as my dog.
Boom! All right, see that? Nice and simple. Come on, Marco. One of these dogs is barking tonight. Which one for you?
Well, I'm going with the big dog because I'm so trained from the Bet On It show that Kelly yells at me if I take a small dog, like Joe does all the time. But I'm going with the second biggest dog on the board. I'm going to take Charlotte plus the points against Toronto. And really, I mean, do you really want to trust Toronto? I mean, this is a team that's underachieved all year, and it is the second of the back-to-back against the same teams. And this is my first time on the NBA show, and so I got to say that I want to voice one of my pet peeves. I hate these back-to-back schedule spots with these NBA teams. I think they're idiotic. I know they're doing it to save travel, but I don't like them. This is a spot where I'm going to take Charlotte. They lost the first meeting 2 days ago, but if you look at Charlotte coming into that game, man, what a tough schedule they had. Look at who they played prior to that. They played Brooklyn at home, the Lakers at home, Memphis at home. Then they went on the road and played Milwaukee. They beat Milwaukee in Milwaukee and put up 138. They followed that up the next game in Indiana. You would expected them to have a dull effort there after the Milwaukee win. They did lose, but they pushed to the number at +5. And then they went to Toronto for the first game. That's the least favorable team. I mean, if you're looking at, which teams are better, that was the soft spot on the schedule, and they laid an egg. I think they come to play tonight. I'll go ahead, take them. They got beat by 12. Most people are going to look and say, what's going to change from 2 days ago? A lot. Take Charlotte plus the points. This one goes right down to the wire. I get the ATS and just put a little sprinkle on Charlotte for the outright.
Yeah, it looks like Terry Rozier starting to come into his own, too, here now at this point. So I expect some points and expect Charlotte to cover, says Marco. What are you thinking here, though, you Capper? Intriguing dogs here. Is there one that's barking for you tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think listening to Marco's story about Kelly yelling at him, maybe I have to go with the biggest dog on the board here. Let's go with Oklahoma Thunder plus 9.5. Sprinkle on the money line here. Let me try to convince you guys on this, because the Thunder as road dogs this season, 10-3 straight up of dogs of 5 or more, including 4-1 ATS if they're a non-conference game. In that 5-game sample size, they're averaging over 120 points per game. Another thing to look at here, the Thunder 4-0 ATS to the 4-0 ATS on the first leg of back-to-back games. They covered against the Nuggets. They actually won outright against 3 teams. They beat the Knicks, Bulls, and Celtics outright. This is a team that these higher-level teams really just kind of look over and look for their next matchup. The Sixers, they have a 5-game Western Conference road trip right after this. So maybe that's what they're looking ahead to. They want to reserve some of this energy. Some of these guys have been banged up, and like Maxi's just coming back not too long ago as well. Embiid has been banged up for a little bit. So maybe this is one that they rest up. Thunder get some momentum going into that fourth quarter and make it a real game towards the end of it. That Celtics game that they won in the first leg of back-to-back games, the Thunder beat them 150-117. This is something that you can't really overlook that. another thing to mention too, they're 2-1 ATS in non-conference revenge games. So they lost to the Philly earlier this season. They took the Bucks to double OT, ended up losing that one and failing by like a point or two. And that Celtics 150 to 117 game was part of that situation as well. So this is something they're pretty familiar with and where they actually perform well. So I wouldn't be scared of putting some money on the Thunder here.
Woo! Look at Thunder and Josh Giddey slamming Embiid here tonight. All right, love where you're going with that. Again, 6 games here, guys. Now let's figure out what the best bets are. All right, you guys know how this works. We put 60 seconds on the clock. Don't really care what you do with that 60 seconds. Just make sure you drop us a best bet somewhere along the line. You Capper over at sportsmemo.com. Make sure you guys are following and checking him out. Best bets loaded here for tonight on his page at sportsmemo.com. So kick us off, Ronald Kabang. Tell us where you go for a best bet tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to look over to the Lakers here on their team total over. The Mavs defensively have been struggling lately. They have allowed their opponents in 7 of their last 8 games to go over their team total. The Lakers on the other side, they've been in really good form. They won, I believe, 5 of their last 6. They've won and covered 6 of their last 8 as well. They've gone over their team total in 9 of their last 11 games. I also checked how they do again following an outright loss. They just lost their last game. They've actually gone over their team total in 10 straight games following a loss. In those 10 games, they're averaging 123.7 points per game. There's a lot of motivation with LeBron and the squad tonight to hit that. I think it was 32,000 points tonight. Give me the Lakers team total over 116.5. Also, shout out to Sports Memo. Check me out on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The NBA triple double, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard.
Oh, look at that. Look, and he left a little meat on that bone afterwards. Do me a favor there, Eric. Clip that and send it to Tony Finn so he knows how this works. All right, talk to me here, Tony Mejia. 60 seconds on the clock. Crush it for us. Where are you going tonight?
Well, let's go down to your neck of the woods where the Heat will play the Bucks. And we are going to go on the under. It's obviously come down from 219 to 212 with the news that Giannis Antetokounmpo will not play today. But I don't think it's come down enough. And right now, the Heat had been on a 4-0 run to the under in 2023. That was snapped in their 112-111 win over the Thunder the other night. But that game basically came down to the wire, and Jimmy Butler's 3-point play late pushed the game over to 20.5. So it was basically to the wire that number hit. So I think with no Giannis, you got to look to Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis to get your points. Milwaukee's been doing a lot of no-shows. The Heat do have both Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. Those are the heart of their defense. No Kyle Lowry tonight to push tempo. So we expect to see fewer than 212 points in Milwaukee and Miami.
Boom! Look at that. Nothing but net. It's good. He got it off before the buzzer there. Don't forget, guys, also Tony Mejia, locked, loaded, ready to roll tonight on his page at WagerTalk.com. Wait a minute, I'm feeling like a premonition here. Something tells me Marco's best bet is going to be in the Cleveland-Portland game. All right, let's see. 60 seconds, Marco. Where are you going for a best bet tonight?
Yeah, Joe, you're such a wizard, I'll tell you. Notre Dame is there. Yeah, I'm going with Portland. Guys, I know if you look at their record, they look like they have been absolute pure trash. I want to tell you something. This will be the first time they've played back-to-back home games since December 10th. They played 10 road games and 3 home games. The other home games were single home games. They returned home off the road trip and lost to Orlando. You know I don't like teams returning home off of a road trip in that first game. But when they lose that first game, I like to take them in the second game, and that's what you have with Portland tonight. Also, we have Cleveland. When they are on the road and have won 4 or more of their last 6 games, they're 0-8 against the spread this year.
Ooh.
And Cleveland, when they're playing their third road game in 5 days, the last 3 seasons, 7-18 against the spread. Portland.
He didn't even say anything nice about the Rockets, and you still gave him extra time. All right, no problem. Let's go here, Robert. We'll remember that one. Portland it is here for Marco, his best bet +3. That's a crazy stat that he just rattled off there about Cleveland in this spot. Charlotte, though, is going to be his barking dog tonight. He's got no problem taking the 8 in that home-and-home spot against Toronto. Mejia says, by default, Lakers. They still suck, but he's still tagging them as a dog. His best bet, though, is going to be the under tonight in Miami, as Miami's got half the team on the injury report, and no Giannis for Milwaukee. Expect that one to go under 212. And Ronald Kabang, UCapper over at sportsmemo.com. Make sure you head over there, guys. Check out his page. He going to OKC. He sees Marco's 8-point dog and raises him 1.5 points. Give me the 9.5 with OKC. His best bet is going to be that team total tonight. He thinks there's points coming, certainly for the Lakers, up and over the 116.5. Marco making his NBA debut. Look at that. Didn't even have to be told. He is on the same side as the Contrarian gods here tonight, so we all know that's going to work out swimmingly. And don't forget, if you head over to WagerTalk.com, guys, opportunities tonight for best bets around the horn with these guys. Marco D'Angelo, locked, loaded, ready to go, guys. Huge wild card weekend. Marco's on top of that for you, not to mention college hoops, NHL, and, of course, NBA plays locked and loaded tonight at WagerTalk.com. Mejia told you he's got a little something dabbling in college as well as the NBA here tonight. Head over to his page at WagerTalk.com. And Mr. Kabang, Ronald Kabang over at SportsMemo.com. Guys, he's ready to roll. Best bet up and ready to go. He has been red hot in the NBA, seeing it real well right now. So visit him at SportsMemo.com. All right, we'll be back again tomorrow, Friday, wrapping up shop for the week. It's going to be a huge weekend across the sports betting landscape. Those 3-day, 7-day, 30-day all-access packages, guys. That's the way to roll here. Make sure you visit these guys at WagerTalk and SportsMemo.com and come back and join us again tomorrow. We'll get you ready with the slate of games in the association tomorrow and maybe look ahead to a couple of the big matchups over the weekend. On behalf of Marco, Tony, and Ronald Kabang, we appreciate the time, guys. Best of luck with all your plays tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good luck.
College football is over, the NFL is winding down, and as we turn our attention to the ice and hardwood until Sunday, January 22nd, we are slashing NBA, college basketball, and NHL season passes from $4.59 all the way down to $2.99 with no coupon needed. This special price locks in your favorite handicappers in the sport of your choice through the championship for pennies on the dollar versus buying daily packages. And since the price will remain $2.99 through midnight on January 22nd, the earlier you buy, the more days you get included at no additional cost. How much are you saving? College basketball comes to just $3.55 per day through March Madness, and the NBA and NHL discounts come out to just under $60 per month to lock in your favorite handicapper through the finals or Stanley Cup. Go to your favorite handicappers page at WagerTalk and or Sports Memo and lock in your sports through the championship for only $2.99 each. If you want to combine handicappers or multiple sports, email us and we can work out an even more significant discount for you.